Hello everybody and welcome to my video. In this video, as the title suggested, I wanted to talk about fear, self-hate, and maybe a little bit about stress because those things are what I've been through last year and I just want to share it. Um, if you are here and you're seeking a very serious help, I suggest that you go to see doctors or something, or someone who is an expert, because I am by no means an expert. I just want to kind of share my story and hope that what I'm talking here kind of like comforting to all of you, but I cannot give like a very serious advice. What happened with me is that when I turned 25, um, you know, in Thailand we have something that it's called like crisis of the 25, which means that if you're turning 25, all the bad lucks, all the bad things gonna hit you. Um, you might get an accident, you might got into an accident, or you might got bad lucks and things like that. And it sounds really spiritual, but I think that I know where this is coming. I feel like 25 is the age where you are like in the middle. You are about to turn into adult, like complete adult, and you are living all your, childish life behind. You're probably in the middle where you need to make like important decisions and things like that. So yeah, that what happens to me. When I turned 25, I still was doing my postgrad degree, but like the majority of my friends, they got a job, like good job, and they kind of like got paid really well. They got to see the world, they got promoted, they got everything they want. But looking back at myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still studying and I still could not afford all the bills that I have. So, it's a little bit intimidating, and I know that comparing yourself with others is something that you shouldn't do, but sometimes you just can't help yourself. You just can't control your thought, and that's what happened to me. That's when it started, and I was very, I would say, I made very few mistakes in life, and I was afraid to make mistake as well. So that's when all the fears come from. The more you grow up, the more mistake you will make. But I am more kind of like a perfectionist, so I was afraid to make mistake that I at finally like I was afraid of everything, like to I was afraid to make decisions. I was afraid to do this because I was like, if I do this, what if I fail? I always ask myself that questions all the time, so I never really start doing something new. um, so that's what happened, and then I kind of start to disappoint people. I start to fail people, and that's when the thoughts of self-hate comes into my life. I just, when you fail so little in life and suddenly at one point you just fail at so many things, that's when you're gonna feel bad about yourself, and that's what happened to me. I felt so bad with myself that I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm just such a failure. So that's prevents me from actually going out and see people because I was afraid of what other people would think of me, and I was also afraid like what's gonna happen if I leave my house. That sounds ridiculous, but that what's happened. I am an introvert person, so making friends normally it's just difficult to me. Like talking to stranger makes me feel awkward. But at that point, it's get to the point that I was so afraid to take phone calls, even from friends. I was not in a mood to go out and hang out with friends anymore because I felt so left out. I could not do anything. I just stay in the house, look at the ceilings, and like just blame myself with all the bad things. So that's when all the self hates comes from, and I don't know. It just felt so bad. And if you've been through this, you know what I mean. One thing about me is that I grew up in like a small town. I grew up in a very traditional and very kind of like conservative family. I knew like automatically when I was a child that I was being watched, like the town was very, very small, that you know everything that happens in your neighborhood, and everyone's kind of like know me, and they kind of know all my achievement and know all my failures. So I was very, very careful not to make mistakes. That I think that's why I was kind of leaning towards a perfectionist. And my family is a big family. That's why I grew up caring a lot of people, like, because you are living with a lot of people, so you need to care, and you need to kind of like take all the opinions of other people's into account. And sometimes doing that is good, but sometimes it's just too much, and sometimes just hit back at you and just damage you somehow, like it hurts me and damage me. So that's when I started to seek for professional help. I finally decided to talk to psychologists first, and then they asked me if I want to see um, the doctor, like a psychiatrist. So I decided, yeah, why not? So I talked to him, and um, the doctor said that I'm a girl who has been living in fear for so long, like for so long. I don't want to say that I have anxiety or depressions, but I would say that I was so anxious at the time and very depressed at the time as well. So the doctor prescribed the pills for me. It's a Fulox. I know that there's another name for Fulox, but I'm not quite sure. But I'm gonna put it down below so you can see if that's the pills you're taking as well. So that he prescribed me that pills, and yeah, it helped a little bit. Not a little bit. It helped quite a lot, to be honest. To be honest, but I feel like taking pills will only help you with adjusting the chemicals in your head. But if you're still living in the same conditions or the same environment, it's gonna get you back into your own loop. That's when I decided to travel. And I'm not saying that travel would help, but it helped me. Um, my first destination was Seoul, South Korea, and I just withdraw all the money in my bank account and just, throw into that trip, and I just splurged everything. I know that sounds so bad, but it was so fulfilling. It was so good to kind of finally travel and see other parts of the world, and finally, get to know like strangers, like talk to strangers. It's so weird that I find it very difficult to make conversations in my own country, but when I get out of my own country, everything just felt so right. Like it felt really, really good that I can talk to a stranger, I can ask directions without feeling so anxious. That's weird. That's why I think that travel does me really good. um so after that trip, I was also lucky that I got a chance to get a scholarship from the government of Colombia, and they sent me to study Spanish in Colombia for 4 months. And that's kind of lightened up my whole world because of people that I've met and things that I've seen. I feel like if you are someone who's struggling from self-hate, from depressions, from anxiety, from whatever, taking pills, as I mentioned, it's gonna help you for one part. But there's some other part of you that you need to help yourself as well. Maybe if you tried everything and it doesn't work for you, maybe you try to kind of get out of your own like old routine a little bit. Get out of your zone. I don't want to say comfort zone because sometimes staying with yourself is just like not comforting anymore. So just get out of something like old routine and things like that and try something new. I know it's so hard, it's so difficult. Before I went to Colombia, I was so freaked out. I felt like, oh my gosh, what if I freaked out over there, and what if I could not make any friends, and what if they thought that I was weird? That's all the thoughts that I had before actually traveling. But little by little, I kind of adjusted myself, and it got a lot better. And it got a lot better than I expected. And so maybe try to do something new, and try to kind of get to know other people. I know there's a saying that says like no one's gonna love you until you love yourself, or no one's gonna appreciate you until you appreciate yourself first. I well, it's a good quote, but I try to avoid quotes like this because it's hard for me to think like them. Like, I don't believe in what they say. I believe that you can love someone else before yourself. And I believe that sometimes, in order to see the best in you, in order to appreciate yourself, maybe you just need someone to see something in you first. Like, you need someone to appreciate you first. That's when you start to appreciate yourself. I know that sounds weird, but that what happens to me. What happened in Colombia is that I met a lot of people who accept me for who I am, no matter how weird I was with them, and they kind of was generous enough to give me some space to be myself and to makes me feel like I was appreciated. Like, they appreciate my presence, they appreciate my company, and that's, I feel like, the best thing in the world. And I also got a chance to do like volunteering work, and that helps me a lot too, because I finally see like that my helps or my existence really helps other people, and that's a good things too. I know that's, as I said, I always know how difficult it is. It's not like, oh my gosh, today I'm gonna get out of the bed and do something good. And then you feel good about yourself suddenly. No, it's not like that. It takes so much time. So give yourself as much time as possible. If you feel okay to step out, try to step out a little bit. Um, this is coming from someone who was afraid to step out of her zone before. So just try, just give it a try. And if you find someone, because you know, in this universe, in this world, maybe there's someone out there who can totally understand you the way you are, who can not only listen to how you feel about yourself, but can share it and can just help you get out of that black hole. I don't want to say that, oh, just see the good in you, because sometimes it's so difficult to see. Sometimes it's just, all you see is nothing. It's just blank space. It just blur. It's nothing. You can't see it by yourself. So that's why I encourage you to kind of step out a little and find someone or something that makes you feel good about yourself again. Um, if you cannot find anybody in this universe, just comment down below and I'll be there. I'll be there, because I know how hard it is to kind of go through this all these things. I actually have a friend who had like suicidal thoughts, and I am someone who, lucky, I don't want to say lucky, but I never had that thoughts in my, like, I never really want to commit suicide. But the reason that I don't want to commit suicide is that I was too afraid. I'm not afraid of death, but I am afraid of what's going to happen after I die. What if I die, but I still suffer, like my soul still suffer from the things that I suffer when I was human? What if I could not go anywhere? What if I still exist but in another form and still suffer? What am I gonna do with that? That's what prevents me from committing suicide. If it's possible, what I prefer is to be like non-existing, like not exist anymore. That's what I prefer. So so no feelings, no body, no nothing of me. That's what I thought. But now I kind of left that thoughts behind and got a lot better with that. I never put my thoughts on it anymore. I focus more on like, how can I survive each day without feeling bad about myself. That's what I think, like, each day. I know that you who's listening to this might get words, but just at least, if you don't trust yourself, trust me. If you don't trust yourself, trust me, that's gonna get better. You are not gonna hate yourself for the rest of your life if you don't want to. No one can make you do anything that you don't want to do. You can lose everything in life but hope. Please, that's what I ask you to maintain in your heart, in your soul, in your body, in your mind. Even when you're at the lowest point of your life, just hope for the best. Just accept it and have the space for yourself to cry, to feel bad, to feel all the bad things. Just let the all like negativity out. And if your emotions are kind of neutral, try to get up a little bit, try to climb out of that hole a little bit, and try to find something that's gonna make you feel better. So I think that's all my stories. I know I kind of rambling, and hopefully that this video kind of gives you a little bit of hope that maybe someday in the future or now, maybe someone out there could help you, or maybe you will find the best way to help yourself out of this mess. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you get better if you are bad watching it. But if you watch this only because you know me or you're curious, I hope that you find the answer that you're looking for. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video, which is probably going to be something else. Bye.